Hello, everybody, and welcome. It's something to be introduced by Baratunde. He actually showed up at a party at my house a few weeks ago in New York, and it's quite a shock to meet him here in the green room again. I thought I would never see the end of him at that party. Anyway, I want to say welcome and hello to everybody in the Free Press family. This is my first conference as the new chair of Free Press, and I am just incredibly honored and thrilled to take that position. I can't start this without saying, first of all, thanks and incredible gratitude to the work that Bob McChesney has done as my predecessor, and I want to And that goes also to the staff of Free Press, to the board of Free Press, to the Free Press Action Board. They have built an incredible organization with an incredible membership that, to my mind, and just looking at this audience, has proved one thing beyond doubt, that in this area, media reform, political apathy is dead. There is just no, it's not completely dead, but when I look at this group, you are the physical evidence that apathy in the area of media reform is just over. Now, I want to talk a little bit about what I see as the mission of Free Press going forward, but first of all, I just want to talk about why I'm so excited to take the chairmanship of this board at this time. It's very clear to me that we are in a special time for the topic of media reform. You know, issues have their eras. Issues have their moments when they start to matter and become pressing and become demanding and become so obvious that something must be done. In the 1920s, this was civil liberties. When the ACLU was founded and first began to ask what sort of civil liberties needed to be defended for Americans. There's other examples like environmentalism in the 1970s, when people started to first ask, what exactly are we doing to this planet? It is very clear to me now in the 2000s that the topic of media reform, the subject, the problem of private control and private abuse of the media, is the issue whose time has come. Now, what I wanted to speak about today are the twin focuses of the Free Press organization and speak a little bit about how they are linked. Free Press spends most of its time on two, what I think of as very important issues: the issue of media consolidation and the issue of internet freedom. I think for a lot of the members of Free Press, the issue of media consolidation in some ways is a more obvious and straightforward issue. We know what it means when the media is owned by 2 or 3 or 4 gigantic entities. It's very obvious why that is a danger to journalism, to free expression, to the very democracy that is the founding principle of the United States. But some of these internet freedom issues, I think, may strike some of our members as less clear what exactly they're all about. You may read in our, no doubt, numerous email messages, which we all get, about things like Comcast blocking content, about the issue of network neutrality. And some of you may wonder, what exactly is this all about? Or even, why should I care? Why does this matter? So I want to explain why I think these issues of media consolidation and internet freedom are similar issues and what precisely they have in common. This is what I want to stress first and foremost: that the issues that Free Press deals with are fundamentally the challenges and the problems from abuse of private power. the United States has many strong points in its design, but one of the problems the United States has had and will always have is the abuse of private power. And when we fight these internet freedom issues, and I'll talk about them more later, we are dealing with the fact that an increasingly small number of companies, telephone and cable companies, are in a position where they are carrying, examining, moving almost all of American speech. Think about how much of our speech, whether it's political, whether it's entertainment, cultural, moves on the internet today, and realize that there are fewer and fewer and fewer entities who have the power to control what goes through and what is the internet. And that is why internet freedom, to begin with, is so closely related to these issues of media consolidation. It is about the question, the oldest question in politics: who will guard the gatekeepers? Who will make sure that the gatekeepers are public servants as opposed to entities designing to enriching themselves, interfering with politics, and ruining what the internet is supposed to be? Now, let me say this by moving it back a little bit, this problem of private power, and talking about the United States Constitution. The United States Constitution is a magnificent document, survived, well, at least a couple decades before the Civil War, but it has a few weaknesses. The founders were obsessed with a problem they saw before them, and that was the abuse of public power by the king. They saw very clearly that they needed to set up safeguards to prevent the government from becoming a dictatorship. But the problem with the Constitution is that it wasn't clear at the time, and it wasn't fully understood, the degree to which this would become a unified economy and the degree to which private power would become as much a threat to this country as abuses of public power. The Bill of Rights is a very powerful document. It has some of the most important American freedoms in it, but it has no protection whatsoever against private power. The First Amendment does not apply to Walmart. The First Amendment does not defend you when your employer prevents you from speaking, when your internet provider prevents you from speaking, when the media prevent you from speaking. And so in this country, we need alternative mechanisms to control private power. It falls to organizations. It falls to three types of entity. It falls to organizations, Free Press being an example of it. It falls to the media, and it falls to citizens to do what they can to control the abuses of private power which are possible. But you can understand the threat. If the media is designed to be the check on private power, if private power takes over the media, there's no check left. It's the same problem. It's the same problem you have when you have one party that is in control of every branch of government. The system of checks and balances cannot work when one party controls every branch of government. This is very clear any time of history you want to talk about, not only the last 8 years. And similarly, if private power controls the media, the system of checks and balances no longer works. The system of controlling private power is gone if the private power is controlling the media. And this, I want to stress to you, is the reason for Free Press's existence. The abuses and the problems we have seen are the reasons you are here today, and are the reasons I'm so excited to be chairman of this organization. I want to thank you. We have an incredible group of speakers who are going to speak to you tonight. and I want to welcome you all. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you so much for having me as your chairman.